Everybody, this is Alex here from Reportify Media and WCICO. I have Nuri on with us here. Nuri, maybe you can help us explain the devastation that's happened in Hong Kong here over the last couple of days. You're in Hong Kong at the moment.
Right. It's been a real shock because pretty much everybody lives in high-rise towers. And so when we see a horrific sight, 7 high-rise towers all at once burning, with a single flame spreading to all of them. Of course, it's terrifying. It really hits home because we're thinking, wait, that could be our own home. And the death count keeps on climbing. It was 4 people on Wednesday night. Latest reports, it's 94 people. So the 7 towers have thousands of rooms, of course. So firemen are tiptoeing from room to room, hoping nothing crumbles. And it's all very shocking and devastating for the people here.
Is it? I know that Hong Kong is very condensed, and its population and buildings are very close. Was it near your area?
Well, I mean, it's a small city, so
Right.
by Hong Kong terms, we think, oh, it's very far away, but in fact, it's probably maybe 25 minutes away by transport. So all of it is very close. And there've been a few fires recently in several places, so that's got us all a bit worried anyway. But still, this is the biggest fire in many, many decades. So still researching that, but we've never had so many deaths in a single incident in modern times. So it is a shocker.
We do see the community immediately coming out, lending a hand, offering support for the people that are without homes. We always can not really understand the magnitude of this because it's people that are attached near the buildings near that area. There's smoke damage to probably many buildings in that area, and people that weren't directly affected by the fire obviously can't even enter that area anymore. So I'm hearing there's probably about the government has secured between hostels and hotels about for 1,000 people, and we're seeing lots of the community come out offering clothes because people have lost everything.
That's right. So there's been a real pulling together. There's 2,000 rooms, so probably more than 4,000 people are affected by this directly in the 7 towers. So there's a huge need for hotel rooms, for hostels, and as you say, the government is looking for places for them. But there's also schools, community centres. The faith groups, of course, are out there. There are literally dozens of organisations who are actively involved. In fact, you could just see it on Wednesday night. People were saying, "Oh, we must go there and help. Just see what we can do." Even my own wife had to narrowly stop her going there. I told her, it's probably nothing you can do. So let's try and help in other ways. So people are reacting strongly. Fortunately, it's a wealthy community and with very well organised emergency services. So we had more than 100 ambulances. We had 200 fire trucks there. We had 26 teams of rescuers climbing up the building on the inside while it was burning. So huge effort. And of course, the organisations are all pouring in money. So there's a massive fund already. Cash is already going to individual victims to help them, set up a new life somewhere else while the longer term situation is sorted out.
I mean, the devastation. My brother-in-law, he is a fire chief or retired fire chief, and he said the following today. During that time, there are things that are not normally exposed, like foam insulation, very flammable. There are systems shut off or not working normally. Maybe the suppression system was getting replaced. Most of the time, buildings are not occupied during these times of maybe renovations. In a normal building, it is designed to be contained to room and contents, and suppression systems will help with containment. High rises bring their own problems with sheer size and height. These are very tall buildings. not fought like the traditional house, he said. The logistics and manpower needed to fight a big fire like that is, he said, simply ridiculous. It's so huge. Most places wouldn't have that, so they're very lucky to actually contain to what they've done. Also, collapse-proof is usually these buildings can handle collapses. He did said there was a special note, Building 7 during the Trade Center. He said the typical suppression systems might pump between 300 to maybe 500 gallons per minute, and sprinklers with 100 gallons per minute. So that wouldn't take long to get overwhelmed, and the fire sprinklers would just be under so much pressure. I mean, we've seen the devastation. We've can visibly see it. Is there talk, and I know this is very early and this is probably speculation, Nuri, but is there talk of what has maybe caused this? I'm starting to hear stuff of people from the UK saying, boy, does this remind me of the Glenfell towers in the United Kingdom. Any chatter about that? What are people's thoughts?
Yes, obviously there's a big investigation going on. And in fact, right now, there are agents going out to inspect hundreds, literally hundreds of buildings all over Hong Kong. So, around this area, from where we're talking to the new territories, to the islands, buildings are being inspected to see if that's the problem, the scaffolding and the netting that goes around it. In a way, it might be similar to the Grenfell thing you're mentioning, because the styrofoam used to block some of the windows on the lift lobbies are being identified as highly flammable. The interesting debate, I think, is the one about bamboo.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying bamboo, well, that's wooden, that's old-fashioned. That will be the problem. But in fact, a lot of people are saying, no, it's not the problem, because you can literally go there and see that the bamboo is still standing. In lots of parts of the burnt blocks, the bamboo is still there. So it wasn't the bamboo, it was the netting that was failed to be flame retardant. Bamboo has been used for since the Han Dynasty, and that's 2,000 years ago. So we've used it for 2,000 years non-stop, and this sort of problem is very rare. So the general consensus at the moment is it's not the bamboo.
So it's and how fast did this fire spread? And was it starting in the middle of the night or early evening? What was the? I mean, can anybody identify the igniter to it?
Yes. So at 2:51 in the afternoon on Wednesday, a passing cyclist saw a flame in one building and phoned the fire brigade. The fire services arrived at 2:56, so literally just 5 minutes later. And they could see that the flames had gone from the netting to an interior location. And they could also see sparks going to neighboring buildings. So immediately they realized there was something seriously wrong here. So that's when the evacuation started. But it was a surprise. It took everyone by surprise. When it started, the fire service thought, okay, it's a fairly small affair. We've seen this before. We can stop this. But they couldn't. It just grew and grew and grew. And by about 6 o'clock, everybody was in a frantic mood because it was spreading from block to block to block. So from one block in the early afternoon, it had spread to all 7 blocks by the end of the same evening. So it spread up and across at high speed, and that's why everybody was pulling in hundreds of fire service vehicles to try and stop it.
I think a lot of people don't understand that, most people have this vision in their mind that a fire starts in the middle of the night. People are awakened by fire, scrambling to get out of a building. Here's one that started in the afternoon, but this still shows us the magnitude of how powerful these fires are, how powerful they can capture people and contain them and actually suffocate them in their units, even during the daytime. The other thing I wanted to press was, of these casualties, that this number is growing, Was there many from the fire brigade or fire department included in those numbers?
Yes, I'm sorry to say, because of course it's always sad when emergency service workers die because they don't need to be there. They're going there to help. And one of the first casualties in the first four deaths, one of them was a firefighter. And since then, we haven't had more firefighter deaths, but quite a few firefighters have been injured. So among the injured, we've got firefighters, and we've got one firefighter among the dead. So they're being mourned, of course, but the numbers have been climbing so steadily that I guess everybody's in a state of shock. They don't want to say what the final number is, because as the firefighters go up through the apartments, they're finding bodies, they're finding pets as well, which they're bringing down. So they're still searching the apartment 2 days after the fire started.
That just shows us the magnitude of this situation. I see that also any local events or festivals or any concerts have all been canceled for the near future as Hong Kong tries to deal with this. I know we have seen reports. These are very, very, and we must be very careful about what we are reading, what we are listening to. I know that there has been some government officials go out and force some blame already. Is there anything concrete that we know that what maybe possibly started this and who is responsible, or you think that's going to come out over a lengthy investigation?
They've already made arrests. They've already identified problem people. They've already been detained. Three individuals have been detained, one consultant and two building contractors. So they've zeroed in very quickly and very tightly on the fact that it was clearly the renovation operation that caused this. But going into detail, was it workers smoking? That might have been one element. Was it substandard materials being used? That's also going to be one element. So the details will take a while to come out, but they've pounced very quickly on these people who they've decided to have to stand up and be accountable. And as I say, agents are going out to buildings all over the territory right now to make sure that something similar doesn't happen again.
Well, this is a very densely populated area here. Hong Kong is, one of the most densely populated mega cities in the world. And you say that there's inspections going on. Is there any support from the mainland here? Does Hong Kong require any support with such a large task at hand?
I mean, the mainland has offered support. They've offered fire trucks. They've offered special hoses. They've offered special devices, extending ladders. Not needed. It doesn't look like they were needed immediately. And at the moment, they're offering. There's a lot of stuff coming over the border from Shenzhen, supplies, blankets, food, that sort of thing. And the government the central government in China in mainland China has actually sent cash and offered analysis and other help. So there is a lot of cooperation going on here. As for your comment about it being the most densely populated area, yes, I believe it actually was in the Guinness Book of Records at one time. I think it's been overtaken, but at one time it was number one. Quite recently, it was number one in the list of world's most densely populated areas. So yeah, difficult job, but getting there. It's Friday as I'm speaking to you now, and pretty much all the flames are out. They're still smouldering in some places, and the thousands of rooms are still being inspected. So it's just a massive job. It's like a vertical city, really.
I think this is going to be a very difficult situation for, I would say, any resident of Hong Kong that lives there. A lot of people live in high rises, so there must be some built-up anxiety of people just wondering if their home is safe. How do we get past that?
Yeah. That is difficult, but I mean, the buildings department here is extraordinarily strict. I mean, very stringent. So, I mean, just to give you an example, you'll often get a knock on the door saying, your door is obstructed. And you'll say, no, it's not. And you look around and there's a pot plant. And there's a rule that says no objects can obstruct a door. Even a pot plant outside your front door can be a problem. Even a feng shui lion outside your door, they can take that away. So the building department is very strict. The laws, the rules, the guidelines are very strict. Of course, whether people abide by them or whether contractors will follow these strict rules, that's a different question. But buildings department is, you know, it's not perfect, of course, but they do tend to be ridiculously strict. Occasionally, you'll find a billionaire has a swimming pool or an underground basement that isn't on the plan, and you'll think, hang on a minute, the buildings department, they removed my welcome mat, but they haven't removed this billionaire's swimming pool. And then there'll be a big fuss, and the newspapers will go crazy, and the billionaire will apologize and fill in his swimming pool or something. So these cases do happen. Definitely not perfect, but the buildings department is cursed daily by residents, including this one, because they're so stringent.
Well, Nuri, I really appreciate your observations, and I wish you, your friends, your community, Hong Kong itself, you know, our condolences here, and hopefully lots of support will continue to come in for everyone affected. I know this is going to be a difficult next few weeks for Hong Kong. It's in our prayers that everyone is safe and a tragedy like this never happens. Maybe this is an opportunity for us to be more alert in the building. You know, I live in a building here. I'm on the 43rd floor of this building as well. You know, probably when I leave here today, I will make sure there's no plants or anything out in the hallway. But you know, it's always going to resonate in the back of my mind. Nuri, how do our viewers find you? Do you have any social media platforms that you contribute to?
Yes, you can look up my name on well, certainly on X.com or Facebook or YouTube, and you'll find me. My group is called Friday Every Day. Friday is a Hong Kong news project trying to get a fairer media line out there to the world on China affairs and on Hong Kong affairs. So FridayEveryday.com is our website.
Okay, we'll make sure we'll put those descriptions. If you could just hold backstage for a while, we're gonna just upload a higher quality of this interview. Appreciate you coming on short notice, and thanks again.